today on the podcast,
get into the topic.
Yeah, we are talking about Valheim because that's why not?
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, it's honestly, we got recommended it by our editor, Sugar. Shout out, Sugar. And he recommended it before it had started blowing up. He just was like, hey, there's this game on Steam Early Access. I think it's going to really blow up. And we're like, yeah, sure, we'll check it out. And then it started like really blowing up, and we're like, oh shit, yeah, we gotta get on that.
Yeah, because I saw it blow up, and I was just like, oh shit, Sugar was right.
Yeah. Hey, Mama Striker 93 in the chat. What's going on? Welcome to the podcast.
Mama Striker.
That was actually pretty good.
The fuck?
I can do voice effects.
I mean, it sounded like Chewbacca there for a second. Okay. 10 out of 10. Would recommend.
We'll take it.
Yeah,
yes, I actually got some skill in that shit.
But we ended up playing it, and I fell in love with that game. That is right up my fucking alley.
Fucking beautiful game.
Oh, I love every single bit of it, and we have not even scratched the surface.
Oh no.
Yeah.
I think the farthest y'all got is like bronze, and I'm pretty sure you can go to like steel and like farther into ancient metals and stuff like dwarven and elven and all that fun shit.
Like,
well, keep in mind, for those who tuned in last night, before we got into Valheim, we showed them the map that Sam and I had been working on. And with a world this big, we've touched this much area.
Yeah.
Like, we haven't even scratched the surface to any degree in any capacity for this game. And it's still in early access. Like, this is still, there's a bunch that's going to be coming out with this game. And also, I think, Sam, you made the point last night to say, within the first less than 3 weeks into the early access being available, over 3 million people have already gotten this game and played it.
Yep. As of 3 hours ago, in terms of concurrent players, it's second only to CSGO.
I'm more impressed that they actually plan for this and that their servers and all their back-end mechanics have held up.
Yes.
Honestly,
because that is amazing.
Yeah, no, like, because we haven't had a single issue with like server, client, anything.
I have not seen a game this stable in the beta build that came out. I have not seen a game this well built for at least a decade. I can't even name it off the top of my head.
I just want to put this in perspective. On February 10th on Steam, the creators of Valheim posted 1 million Vikings. Okay? So 1 million people on February 10th had purchased this game. 5 days later, 2 million Vikings. 4 days later, 3 million Vikings. Holy shit.
And the fact that their equipment can handle that and their servers can handle that means that they have some top tier fucking IT and tech people behind the scenes, because that is some serious overhead and oversight. And I fucking love it.
Although, do we know, are the servers hosted on their side, or is it all hosting, like local hosting?
Even if it was local hosting, I'm still impressed.
Because they capped the server size to, like, in terms of like how many players, to 10. Which makes sense.
But that means, think about how many worlds are open.
Yeah.
Like, that's still a shit ton.
And I also don't know how they could squeeze all that into a 1 gigabyte download.
It's not possible. It has to either, I don't know. I'm actually trying to look it up now.
Well, things that I've read have stated that apparently next month they're going to be dropping a massive update for it.
Nice.
I mean, it is beta, so I expect it, but at the same time, it's just like, for this to be a beta and come out like that, just holy shit.
But it makes
there's already people out here. There's already it's easy. There's already people out here like offering services to build Valheim servers, so it lends itself to local, if I believe.
Oh yeah, but what I'm saying is like, so like Fortnite kept Epic kept Fortnite in beta for a long time.
Yeah,
So
for a good couple of years.
I'm really wondering how long they'll do this, because if it's already this successful just in beta, there's no reason for them to drop anything to change up anytime soon.
No.
Nah, I believe there is a reason for them to drop this thing, to drop updates and stuff to the beta, because I mean the purpose of the beta is to test it, see where the limits are, see how it operates under the strain, and they've well exceeded, I'm pretty sure, any charts or data that they had, or prediction data for how much strain it would get, and it's well exceeded that. So go ahead.
I was just gonna, and come to think of it, I did think of two small problems that we had, but they were extremely small. One was you riding the neck in the challenge video yesterday,
which was hilarious.
And then
say two things on that real quick, just very quick. One, that's the first time we've ever had that happen, and two, that's funny as hell.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Like that's a funny thing.
And that was definitely client side, so that was on my, because like nobody else could see it. It was just me. But and then the only other thing, and it's kind of similar, is I would have like a grayling or a gray dwarf show up and was like acting like it's attacking me, but when I attack it, I couldn't hit it at all. But it would never attack me either. Like it would just kind of hang out for a while and then eventually despawn. So like that's like the two small things that I've seen so far. But I mean, again, we haven't scratched the surface of anything. Like I'm watching like I just saw a clip on the subreddit of these guys. They were like, there's this like giant pillar of stone, and they just knocked the bottom of it out, and so all the stone started falling from the sky.
God!
And it handled it just fine. Like I didn't see like really any problems at all.
Yeah, and I'm more impressed that I can run it and be completely fine with it, and it runs smoothly on my ancient ass PC.
Yeah, honestly, like
that is also props to them, because that means they went through and was like, all right, how do we handle this generation, this generation, this generation? Mm-hmm. Which, as we've seen, some games have been lacking as currently.
And I think it's capped at 60 hertz right now, in terms of frame rate. So,
which I mean,
which
you don't,
is odd.
Yeah,
you don't need 60 hertz. Not for this type of game.
Yeah. I mean, I would love to see super smooth, flowy animations, but I mean, like, it's already great as it is. So, like, I'm not knocking it by any means.
It honestly, the whole game for me is if Ark Survival Evolved and RuneScape had a baby.
Yeah.
Like, that's like you're getting the great like lore, like the old Norse feeling mixed with like basically steadily progressing enemies and ability to build and evolve in your building and evolve in your levels as you go. Like it is such a well-rounded game, man. Like like we said, you and I was looking at this. You and I have played this game a collective. You've played it 22.3 hours. I've played it 23 hours. So we've played it, together essentially the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
And there's so much we haven't done.
Honestly,
we've spent more time playing this game, learning the building process, learning like the crafting processes, basically making our home base before we've even gone to try and explore yet.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And there's still more we can do too. Like, I mean,
which is incredibly impressive for a beta.
Oh yeah. Like, I mean, honestly, like, you normally in betas, at least in the past, it's all been, just like really, entry level stuff. Like, you're not going to get past a certain point. But no, like this has got to be the entire fucking game. Like, I mean, honestly, if there's more on top of that, like, holy shit. Like,
and considering that they went with the Norse mythology approach, I'm about 80% confident that there probably is going to be more on top of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing is like the fact that they went with a Norse mythos is fantastic, because I feel like there's games out there that have tried it and kind of just been like, nah.
Yeah.
But this one actually, like, as you're going through, they've taken Norse mythology and added on a whole new realm of availability and possibility that's just like you don't know what's happening next. You don't know what to prepare for because you might know Norse mythology, but you don't know what's happening here in Valheim.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, it's like they looked at God of War, the newest one that released. They looked at that, saw how they did their mythos, and they were like, all right, how can we take that a step further, but we also leave the player guessing?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And man, they do a really good job of keeping us guessing because, like,
Oh, yeah.
I have
Especially the tall bird ladies.
of course, Anderson
Good
simping
Lord.
for all the Valkyries.
Yes.
Yeah.
I sent for him in God of War too, so shut up.
And also, like, I'm looking at all the reviews here. All the reviews, I haven't seen one bad review yet. Like,
If it was a bad review, it's probably a troll.
Honestly.
like I'm literally seeing thumbs up after thumbs up after thumbs up. And some of them are pretty funny. Like this one, very short and sweet. This person's played 89.2 hours.
Jesus.
Yep. Their review says bees are happy.
Bees are happy.
I accept that. I accept that.
And so this one here, this is a great. Oh, there goes Anderson.
Wait, can you still hear me?
No, your
We
video,
hear you. We don't see you.
Yeah, your video went out.
Oh,
That was weird.
give me a second. Switch.
Man. There he
My bad.
is.
All right, yeah. I had to unplug and replug mine.
And now we're hearing you through your computer.
Ah!
Great audio quality.
While he's fixing that, this actually says really well. This person's only played 17 and a half hours,
Beep, beep.
but it says one of the best survival games, reminds me of Terraria. Unique gameplay and mechanics. The world is procedural and looks awesome because it seems so alive, which is very true. Progressing in this game is very rewarding, also very true. The game also tempts you to explore a lot as it rewards you by finding rare material and dungeons. Extremely true, because there have been plenty of times where Sam and I have been out exploring to just mine, and we'll come across troll caves, we'll come across burial sites, we'll come across just about damn near anything you can think of, and we're like, we need to come back to this. We need to come back. Don't go in there just yet. We need to come back.
Oh my god. Do you ever know how old you are because you saw Terraria release and then end? Because that shit, what was it? I'm pretty sure it ended in either 2017 or 18. They announced that it was the final update.
Oh, did they? I didn't even know that.
Oh yeah, it's been done for a while.
This review sums it up pretty perfectly. It's by a guy named Killer Rabbit. And so he says, it's criminal that a team of 5 people can build such an amazing game like this and sell it for $20. I continue to be amazed at the thought that went into this game and all the little details, from the changing weather, the waves in the ocean, the ebb and flow of the water along shorelines, the smoke from campfires that it fills the room, the ease and simplicity when it comes to building, the way the trees fall, the music that feels seamless and relaxing, and so on. I truly appreciate that they didn't make an open world simulation that simulates things for no other reason than to simulate them. Made a mistake while building that house? No worries, just remove it and get all your materials back. Ran out of food while busy building or crafting? No worries, you're not going to die from your hunger. Broke your axe? No worries, just repair it. Troll smashed your cart full of ore? No worries, just put down a workbench and rebuild the cart and put everything back in the cart. And honestly, that sums it up. So it's like take your hardcore survival games, like The Forest, for example, which we also played last night.
Yep.
So it's got a hunger element to it, but that only affects your overall health and your stamina. So like if you run out of food, you just have a little bit of health. That's it. And then you don't have a whole lot of stamina.
Yeah.
And like,
But yeah, it sucks, but it also allows you to still keep on playing until you find that food.
exactly. Yeah. Like you're not having to reset or restart or, have to do anything crazy just because of that. I mean, like we've gotten crushed by logs by accident, which is hilarious, by the way. And, you just spawn again, go right back, grab your shit and keep going.
Yeah, I wish they could have seen when I toppled a whole fucking forest and it all fell on top of me.
Yeah.
Instead, I was just sitting there laughing.
Yeah. This game has now 56,000 overwhelmingly positive reviews. on Steam. That's
And
insane.
what I like to say is that's what I like to see in the game. It allows for you to make mistakes, but it also allows for you to correct those mistakes.
Yep.
And even like there's certain elements to the game that when you first think about it, you're like, oh, that could be broken. But then you try it and you're like, nope, that's actually pretty legit. Like, so for instance, on the house that we built a moat. And the moat originally started because I dug down and then dug this trench coming out of the side of our house. And when I dug that, I had no way to get around it from building our wall. So what I did was we built a platform and then two walls that kind of came into a little bit, and you have a little like exit way. But what you could do is it's basically for farming graylings and such, because they'll fall in the trench and you could just snipe them from up above and farm them right there, and it makes it so much easier.
Yep.
But one of the things that I was thinking of was like, if I can make this jump with ease to get out, that's broken. And so I tried it. It's not broken by any means. Like, it's actually pretty smooth, because if you run out of stamina, you'll jump
And cut halfway through.
and you'll like, huh, like, because your body, you're not picking up momentum to make the jump.
Yep.
If you have full stamina, you're picking up speed to hit the jump, which you can do it no problem, and you'll get in just fine. But if you have no stamina, you're not making that jump.
Yeah, they did that stamina system perfectly.
Yeah, I love the training aspect of it as well. Just sprint and jump and just train it up as much as you can, because when everybody sees it, when it comes out, the challenge recap, they will see me just training sprint, jump, and hitting trees. And honestly, I don't know about y'all, but that made me so much better for the fight at the end.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely helped out. I want to read this one real quick. This is gonna be a little wordy, but I'll go as fast as I can. So this one is from Lady Tinjoin. The gist of the story: our character was recently slain in battle. Their soul is sent to a purgatory realm called Valheim, where they can battle some more treacherous foes and then die some more because they didn't wear pants during a battle. True story. You're tasked with hunting down Odin's enemies and bring peace to Valheim. Gameplay: by Odin's balls, this game is good. The game acts like a survival game with building, crafting, and with nonsense of incessant hunger. Without the nonsense of incessant hunger, thirst, or sleepy meters bothering you at every corner. There is a hunger meter that is linked mostly to your health and stamina. The higher quality of food you eat, the more stamina and or health you receive. Did learn that there's certain combinations of food that you can eat, because you can only eat 3 things. But there's certain combinations that'll actually put you above 100 health.
Yeah.
So that way, like, if you go into battle or you know you're going somewhere that's going to be a lot of enemies that you need to get through, you can eat this combination of food and it'll spike you, and then you can go and do what you need to do.
And we haven't even gotten into, just to touch on that, there are like health potions, stamina potions, buffs, like a bunch of shit in there. And like we haven't even gotten that far yet. So I'm sure it gets even better from there.
We haven't touched any kind of alchemy with this whatsoever. So let me see. Each food item you cook or find has a duration, so its effect will fade as time passes. You can eat 3 different types of food. As we said, there's no HP drain if you don't eat unless a troll breaks your house and curb stomps you while you're in it. This is
That's fair.
There are ways around that. However, if you build your house out of stone, a troll won't touch it. But if your house is made of wood, GG. You die in that case. When death greets you, you drop your items in a form of a tombstone, sort of like a bloodstain from Souls games. But what's great in Valheim is that your map tells you where you died, and there doesn't seem to be an expiration date, so your precious iron and gear will wait for you. That is true. However, as I learned the hard way, there is no expiration on your tombstone. You can run back, and that's a beautiful part of the game. You can run back and get all of your stuff off your tombstone. If you were in an area where you died, say fighting a boss that you shouldn't have taken on alone, then what happens is if you die again, your next tombstone drops with what you had on you at that moment, and everything you had before is gone. So that mechanic definitely definitely, is involved in a good way.
Yeah, you can't just
but
stack up deaths or anything like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is good because that means, you're not death abusing.
Let me see here. The combat, I would say, is pretty solid. There's a variety of weapons you can choose from: sword, shields, spears, axes, hammers, bows, and torch, each with its own move set. I normally select thrusting weapons, so I chose the spear at first, but the move set is so short range for a spear that I roll with a sword. There's a block and parry mechanic. If you manage to parry correctly, block at the last second of the attack, you can stagger the enemy and damage them for a critical damage. Make sure you gear up, because if your equipment isn't up to par, you will melt.
Yep.
Very true.
Yeah.
And what you saw when I was playing it, because I had the shield and the axe, I actually managed to block a bunch of his the deer's attacks.
Yeah, honestly, you were doing a great job kiting it up until you weren't.
Yeah, up until I got distracted by Joe screaming. I was just like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Ah!
What was
Then
that?
the next thing we see is Anderson's dead, and I'm running around going, Sam,
Yeah.
Sam.
And then as soon as I arrive back on the scene, both of y'all die. And I'm just like, well, I guess I'm about to take most of this thing's health. All right.
Yeah.
You will level up your stats constantly. Let's say if you're running, you will improve stamina drain. If you're mining with your pickaxe, you'll increase its damage. It reminds me of the Elder Scroll system, Oblivion and Skyrim, where you naturally increase your skills the more you use them.
Which is
Valheim
a fantastic system.
Yeah.
Yes, without a doubt.
And to touch on that, I'm sorry to interrupt again. So, and we can talk about this more later, but I was reading an interview with one of the creators, and he said they were heavily inspired by Skyrim and Zelda, which
That makes sense.
great idea.
Oh god, they were inspired by Skyrim. What kind of Chad it takes to take on a AAA company's product and be like, how can we replicate this
But make it better.
by the cheapest cheapest means possible and make it better?
Yep.
Honestly. Valheim also has a heavy emphasis on exploration. You'll start with your underwear, but as you become stronger, you'll be able to explore each new region more comfortably without worrying about a giant troll rushing towards you with a grin on his face. I'm about 70 plus hours in, and I know I haven't seen everything. The game encourages you to explore and search for superior resources to outfit your Viking or the location of the next boss. When you find a boss arena, you'll have to hunt for items in the boss region that allows you to summon the boss. Build a ship and sail to an unknown land. The sailing somewhat reminds me of Wind Waker, just an open sea with you and your Red Lion King. Okay, that's not in this game, but I wonder if modding can make it happen one day. Lastly, if you don't want to explore on your own, join the Valheim Discord server or visit the Steam community or join the Gaming Bunch server and join us.
And there it is.
Shameless plug.
Just be careful about griefers in the servers. I play solo for the most part. That way, all the resources in the world are mine and mine alone. I've played with a few folks, though. There are so many creative players out there. It's amazing to witness how they construct their headquarters and handle the challenges of the game their own way. Graphics and technical issues. For context, this person's specs are RTX 2070 Super, i7 4790S, 12 gigs of RAM, playing on 2160 resolution. Valheim has a painting-esque graphics, and it is beautiful in its own right. This is one of the best early access games I've ever played. The game does have poor performance. My FPS does hover around in the 40s in medium settings. Others in the community seem to be struggling as well. It is slightly buggy. I clipped through walls by accident or got stuck. Nothing major, which is expected on an early access game.
Yeah, it's a beta, so I don't fault them on that. And also, like, I can't really fault them either because even though I have to play on like the lowest graphic settings and whatnot, I'm still able to play it on a 970. So,
Am I playing at full settings? I don't think I ever.
I know I'm not. I'm on low.
I have a 1060 in mine with a i7 7th gen, and I've been playing in medium settings just fine.
Yeah, I have a 970 with the i7. I'm pretty sure it's an earlier gen than yours, and I've been playing on low, but it still runs fantastically.
The only reason I played on low last night was because I was also recording.
Yeah, recording kind of drains RAM and all that fun stuff.
Yeah.
I just
In their wrap up, I absolutely adore this game. It's calming and addicting. I'm obsessed. Please do yourself a favor and get this game. Add me, Vikings. I'll see you in Valheim. Thanks for reading. The TLDR pros were emphasis in exploration, solid combat, diverse weapons, freedom to approach the game your own way, hugging and long game time. Cons, poor performance, minor bugs associated with early access games. So as we said, for multiplayer servers, beware of griefers and jerk faces, death skeetos, and structure placements can be finicky.
You know what? Props to that dude. That was a solid TLDR.
Yeah.
That was a fantastic.
So I'm confused.
Breakdown.
So I have my Valheim maxed the fuck out.
Oh Jesus!
Everything. I forgot to set it lower because I meant to set it lower for streaming and everything.
Wait,
like
do you even have VSync on?
That is the only thing I don't have on because I never turn that on.
Everybody hates fucking VSync.
VSync can go die in a fire.
I fucking hate VSync.
And I get full 60 frames while streaming, recording at the same time. Like I don't get that. They had a better graphics card than me. Better processor. I don't get that. Okay, whatever. Maybe I just got lucky.
Maybe it's the RAM and the hard drives.
Yeah,
because I think it's more of equipment on that, memory on that one.
12 gigs of RAM?
I don't think this game requires 12 gigs.
No, but what I'm
think the
saying
max
is
would be 8.
They said 12 gigs of RAM. Are they doing 3-4 sticks? That seems horribly inefficient. Anyway.
Yeah, that seems horribly bad.
Yeah. Anyway, because then you're just doing one dual channel and then one single channel. Anyway, I'm just yeah. This is not a.
Yeah.
This is not a.
We're getting nerdy.
Yeah.
We're getting nerdy.
I think the thing is because it's also based on how your world is built. Because every time you create a new world, a new seed is generated, and the seed generation, there's. I mean, to the nth dimension on how you can build these out.
I mean, I'm sure, if you got to a really intensive area, you might struggle a little bit, but
yeah, of course you got the randomizer in there along with the seed generator. You also got the algorithms that kind of spawn the trees in different areas and stuff, which is also another randomizer. So yeah, it gets complicated.
Yeah,
I think the big thing there is like it all really depends on how your world is built, because in early access games you can't expect every single world to be top tier, like run as smooth as possible, because it's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
But there are people out there who are getting these fantastic worlds. Some people are just going to get the shit into the stick, and that's just how it is.
Mm-hmm.
But as the game progresses, as the devs continue to put out updates, and as this early access beta and emphasis on beta continues to grow, it's going to be even better. Like to the moon, baby. This is like we there ain't no limit on this. Like this game is going to be popping off for a long time.
No,
yeah, and I would say also with it being a beta, like if you get like anyone out there, they get like a shit world or anything like that. There's randomizers in place, there's seed generators, there's algorithms, there's hash, and all that fun stuff. All the data algorithms and structures and stuff like that, they're all included in this. If you get a shit world, back out and do a new world. Yeah, it's not that hard.
There's nothing stopping you from doing that. No, nothing at all. There's nothing. That's a beautiful part about this game is you can make as many worlds as you want. Like you can make as many worlds, nothing stopping you from doing it. And the thing is, if you get a shitty world, if you load in and you're 10 minutes in and go, oh, this is buggy, guess what? You hit your escape button, you click log out, and you go and it's click new server.
Yeah, it's not that hard.
Like,
and their menu system also. Can we talk about their menu system, because it's simplistic and fucking fantastic.
Yep.
You can navigate it and you have no problems.
Even the character creation with how simple it is, it's still fantastic.
Oh yeah,
I love it.
Definitely.
The only thing I wish I could make my lady taller.
But women in real life aren't taller than men.
Shut the fuck up, nerd.
I will say, this is something I read. So earlier this week, I was reading a little review, forum post going back and forth. Someone made an interesting comment, and I want to get y'all's takes on it because I completely disagree with it. Somebody made a comment on the forum post that I was reading that said they're worried that with how Valheim is doing so well right now, that it's going to be like Among Us, where it's going to be hot for the next month or two, and then it's going to drop off bad. I disagree completely. I fully disagree on that. But before I go into that, I want to get y'all's thoughts on that.
I would disagree with that as well, because I mean because with Among Us, it's the only thing that has led to any kind of differentiation of or like just fresh new things. Like, cause so far they have 3 maps. You play the same roles, everything like that. The only thing that's made that any different is the mod system. It's like, because we tried out the sheriff mod, wasn't great, but there's a million of them out there. There are ones where like you can be like a jester where you have to get voted out in order to win. There are ones where like imposters can place down their own vents.
Yeah, you got like tsunami mod.
Yeah, the tsunami mod. Like, I mean, there's a ton of them out there, and people are creating custom ones all the time. But that is as of right now, the only thing that's leading to anything new. This game is so big that I don't think, unless you're only watching the person that's speed running the whole fucking thing, I don't think you're going to get to a point, at least anytime in the next 6 months, that's going to be like, end game breaking stuff that, it's just like, all right, well, I'm going to speed run my way through all of this,
Yeah. No, I agree completely. I don't see how this game could spike and drop so rapidly, because Among Us, the thing, of course this isn't about Among Us, but using this in context, Among Us's problem, like the devs' problem, is they've been promising new stuff since it spiked, because they were originally making Among Us 2. They stopped the production of that because Among Us took off, and they were like, okay, well, we're just gonna make new maps and get this out to you. And then the community started making all these mods, and they're like, all right, great, we're gonna ride the wave on this for a little bit. And I'm assuming they're still popping bottles of champagne after winning so many damn awards at the VGAs.
God, they won so many damn awards.
Yeah, they. I mean, it was like every other category. It's like, oh, Among Us, up Among Us.
I mean, deservedly so. Like they did a great job with it.
I think there was only one category I disagreed with what they were put in with Doom Eternal and fucking Among Us. I was like, those 2 games aren't even remotely similar. But I digress. That was just like my own personal opinion on that one.
Yeah, I
just think that the devs haven't taken the time, or not necessarily the time. They haven't put out the needed material to keep the game relevant moving forward. Because when the new map drops, yeah, I'm sure everyone's going to take off back to it. It's just like Fortnite back in the day when Fortnite was actually pretty decent. Like when Fortnite was actually pretty decent, Epic was building new content consistently and putting out updates every 2 to 3 weeks with new little pieces on the map for you to go like, oh shit, what's this? Oh shit, what's this? Yeah. Oh, this new weapon. Oh god. And so that's how you keep your community engaged, is by consistently giving them, even if it's a small morsel. Like, you give somebody a chocolate, they're gonna want more chocolate. Like you keep giving these morsels and people are going to keep coming back for more. With Valheim, you were just served a giant chocolate bunny. You're going to be eating on that for a hot minute.
Yep.
And then by the time you're done with that chocolate bunny, guess what?
Another fucking chocolate bunny.
Here's all this extra chocolate that we've been putting out that you haven't tried yet.
Yep.
Like, Valheim is not going to stop growing. It's going to with the fact that they've combined Viking Norse mythos, they've combined a beautiful system of crafting, growing, exploration, like all of these things within this world, and they're still going to be putting out new stuff. That's it. That, like, they did. I don't think they knew this, but they put together the perfect I want to say like mixture of everything you could get within a game, and put it out, and everyone's like, oh shit. Like, even people who may not like that style of gameplay, I guarantee you they would love it because of what all it offers.
And it's only $20. It is not a $60 AAA title, like whatever, and only 5 people made it. 5. That's incredible. I'm sorry. Like, I know we're just sitting here gushing about Valheim, but like,
there's nothing bad with it.
No.
Like, there's no reason to be upset with it. There's none. And honestly, what this game has done, hot take, what this game has done is put every big name company on blast and shown them, hey, with 5 people, we just put out one of the fastest selling titles in Steam.
Yep.
Yeah, especially after Cyberpunk.
Correct. They have just gone and put every single big dev on blast and said, guess what? You can take your teams and put another $60 title, and I guarantee you we're still going to keep growing.
Yep.
And we're selling our game for a third of your cost. We did it with a fraction of your team numbers, and we're steadily growing our game.
Which sucks because that means all the people in the AAA titles are looking at losing their jobs.
No, I disagree. I think those folks that are in the AAA titles are going to start going, well, you know what we could do is we could just create our own dev company and go ahead and make our own game.
Yeah, but then you have people in there also up in those higher tiers that be like, you know what we could do? We could reduce the staff and increase the workload. That way we can put out a game that's on par or more than this game.
No, I would disagree with that completely, because what's going to happen if they do that is those big titles would disappear. Not big titles, big devs rather. The big devs would disappear, because what this is doing is empowering developers to realize that they are more efficient than these big companies may give them credit for. That you don't need these massive dev teams to go and create a title. I don't remember who said it. One of the two of you just said, look at Cyberpunk. CDPR, their dev team came under heavy fire after everything that just happened. But you have a team of 5 devs who just put out a game like this? Yeah, no. Those devs are going to go, okay, we don't need EA to help us. We don't need any of these other companies to help us. Valheim just did it on their own. The creators of Valheim just did it on their own, put the game out, and they are skyrocketing. All it took was just some innovation, some ingenuity, and all the knowledge that they have of being devs, and they created one of the best games on the market, bar none. This is empowering devs to make them realize you don't need these big names to go and be a big name yourself, and that in and of itself is fantastic.
Well, yeah, it's empowering.
That's going to give us better games and give these devs better opportunity to create what they want to create.
Yeah.
I'm good at.
If I could do it, I'd rip this up at mic drop.
I mean,
like
you're right, but at the same time, it's like it may be empowering the devs, but at the same time, if it's showing them that, it's showing them that they, in order to make something like that, especially with all the legalities and everything that go with being in a AAA company or a developer in one of those companies, that if you're trying to work for those companies and you got to follow the guidelines and everything like that, you can't create the game you want to create. So it would inevitably.
All the legality stuff, all of that, so that it's like a smoke and mirrors play, because all these big companies are making it seem like you have to have a big name behind you to have a successful title. You don't. We grew up in the age where indie, so I grew up on console, and I'm gonna speak from console perspective. We have all said I didn't become a PC Master Race guy until last year, so I'm just gonna speak on console perspective here. If a game like this came out on console, it would fail. Strictly console, it would fail. Why? Because console is run by big names. You don't see many successful indie games until Xbox Game Pass came out. You didn't see many indie games really being successful. You'd see them kind of collecting dust on the shelf at GameStop, and that's about it. But what you're seeing is it's almost like the balance. Like, we've seen all this growth in big names, and what happens is, look at Call of Duty. We went for years, and every new Call of Duty title that came out was this next, like, future-based warfare that really didn't do anything for us. One step closer to being Halo almost, because exosuits and all that shit.
I mean, Advanced Warfare was basically Halo, so yeah.
Thank you. And then what happened is they got to this point, they went, oh shit, well, no one likes it anymore. Oh, restart.
And they went back to World War II.
Thank you.
Where they all started.
So, yeah. You see that, and I'm using that as a perspective because Call of Duty is one of the biggest titles in history. But you see that and you go, oh shit. Valheim, which I said previously, was made with a fraction of the people, a fraction of the team. And I'm guaranteeing a fraction of the budget is already one of the fastest growing titles. They have knocked Call of Duty completely out, saying we hold the title for one of the fastest growing titles in Steam history, where the library is massive in comparison to what you would get on console. So all these devs on these big companies, it doesn't matter about legality. That comes in play because yeah, you're gonna have to hire some lawyers to figure out some shit. We get that. That's part of your budget. The technicality side, they've already got it covered. With a fraction of the team, they've got all that taken care of. The release, they've got that covered too. What they're showing, and this is the beautiful part of it, is what they're showing is these devs are more important than these companies are giving them credit for.
Yeah.
These devs are more important than anything these companies have given them any kind of due diligence to. They are able to create beautiful pieces of art and give it to the gamers and say, here you go. For a fraction of the cost, there you go.
Well, so what I think
that's amazing.
That's what I'm saying. Like when they do that, Valheim, I mean, they did great. I don't rebut that or anything like that. But when the AAA companies or whatever like that look down on that and see that, then they look at their own teams and be like, okay, why did they do this and we are not able to do that? What's to stop the AAA companies from reducing their own dev team and everything like that?
Yeah, but so basically what Anderson's saying is like, you got to think of like, you know, the guy at the top of the AAA titles, right? You know, he's sitting there like, oh shit, look at that little guy. Look at you go. Wait a second, they only have 5 people? I got 3,000. Fuck that. Get them all out. Like, get rid of some of the redundancy.
What's to stop me from reducing it from 3,000 to 1,000?
From the perspective of the top guy, so you're both, I agree with both of you in this respect. And I feel like this is pretty much our dynamic here. Joe has one view, Anderson has another view. I find the commonalities. So,
This is true. This is true.
Which has been my entire life. But anyway, so
that's why Anderson and I are next to each other. We can argue.
Yeah. And I'm just sitting here listening like, yeah. Oh, that is good. Yeah. So, but anyway, so from the view of the top guy, it is very easy for him to make a rash conclusion, which somebody's going to, like one of them is.
Oh, without a doubt, that's going to happen.
And be like, I'm going to cut my staff in half and give them half the budget and do this. But the problem is with that, it's not going to help at all because, you know, it's going to come out with like shit content. It's going to be half the budget for the actual development of it, but they're still going to be spending just as much on marketing a shit game and trying to get people to play it before it's actually ready. And so the benefit to having an indie developer like that is they kind of have all the time in the world. Not really, but you get where I'm coming from here. Like they don't have a marketing deadline, so they can spend as much time as they need to polish things. And so even though this is a beta game, CDPR would call this ready to put out.
They would call it finished.
Yeah, they would call it finished. Like there's no more updates, basically. Yeah. So where you guys are coming from, I agree that it can empower developers to where, like, let's say if they get laid off by the rash CEO that's about to like lay off half his staff, they might get a bunch of them together and say, let's make our own shit and then try to find some investment for it. Like that's it. So like, you know,
that's the point I was about to make. Yeah.
So it's gonna inevitably happen, which is gonna suck, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad if they go that route, the developers and everything. If that horrible shit does happen, especially during these times, I'm glad if they take that route. But at the end, fact, it's going to affect lives and it's going to affect livelihoods and everything like that.
Here's where I'll say to bridge the gap on that is I use the term because it's so important in this situation. And honestly, and I'll say this from the perspective of the three of us. And I know Sam, like you've been with us for a couple months now, but ever since the beginning of TGB, there's one thing that's always remained important to us, and that is empowering others. Whether it be we can help someone by, oh, you're a streamer, well, come play with us and we'll get you some exposure on our channel as well. You don't got to pay us a penny. We don't give a shit. We do it because we love to play video games and want to see people be successful. Empowerment. I use that term because, yes, would it suck that these folks would get laid off? Absolutely. But I genuinely hope that these devs would see what is taking place with Valheim and go, there is nothing stopping us from going and doing the exact same thing.
Except corporate.
I disagree. There's no corporate backing Valheim.
But
there's no
corporate backing Valheim. There's corporate backing EA and CyberConnect and all those fucking AAA companies. So yeah, there's nothing stopping them except for the people over them.
But you're missing my point. You're missing my point entirely. What Valheim has done has shown that you can do this yourself if you're a dev. They did it with 5 devs. 5.
Okay, great. Are we talking about the devs that are just completely independent or the ones that are already in jobs?
It doesn't matter. That's what I'm saying.
It highly matters.
It doesn't matter.
Well, because you got to think of it from the perspective of, like, say you are the dev at EA, right? Well, like one of the devs at EA. And, you and a few buddies, might have like a passion project or something like that you've been working on. Or like, have like an idea. Like, you can't just like take that to corporate and be like, I want to make this game without getting it approved through like 6,000 miles of red tape. Both through.
But what I'm saying is you don't need corporate to do that.
Yeah, but then at that point, if you don't need corporate to do that, then a lot of times there's going to be like exclusivity contracts when it comes to development.
Or non-disclosure and stuff like that.
Or NDAs and stuff like that. So then you got to think like, if I'm a dev at EA right now and I want to make this game, I either have to try to get it approved through EA or quit. And then I don't have income until the game's
then
done.
I don't have a stable paycheck.
So that's where I think the disconnect here is you're thinking like, yeah, in the fairy tale land of hopes and dreams and no corporate red tape, then yeah, that'd be great. Or like where like, money grows on trees. But in reality, EA developers, and I like how we're just shitting on EA like every podcast.
It's EA.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's EA. No one gives a fuck about them.
In reality, the developer that's working at EA, that's making a good living, able to support their family, isn't going to be able to just drop everything and make this passion project. That's the unfortunate side of things. So like, I don't think it's really going to inspire any innovation on that side of things, unless it's somebody that's got a massive savings or they won the lottery.
Yeah, either that or they're a high-end dev and they already had stuff stocked up and they have like a 401k and all that fun salary shit, and they can go their separate ways and do it. Because I mean, in fact, if you have like a passion project like this, like considering if like, let's say if a Naughty Dog developer had a passion project like Valheim, they could either go to Naughty Dog, or if they try to release this game on their own, they would have to either quit or be fired, because I'm pretty sure contracts and stuff like Sam said are in that.
If they're so the third option there, if they end up putting it out and they still work at Naughty Dog or EA or wherever, they could, like, the parent company that they're working for can just take that.
Yeah,
because you are their property in a lot of scenarios.
Yeah, and anything you create or you have ideas on is effectively their property.
Intellectual property is everything.
And that is a scary lawsuit to go through.
Didn't Grandma's Boy kind of touch on that a little bit?
I think so.
Yeah, honestly, like, great movie, by the way, if you haven't watched it. But yeah, Mama striking back in the chat saying, I mean, it's EA who likes them. Yeah, nobody likes fucking EA. Like, EA should die in a fire, especially us three.
Burn.
So let me dive into this a little bit more here for a second. I am without a doubt understanding that not every game that's put out is going to be a banger like Valheim.
Oh, of course.
God, no. Definitely not.
The market's too fucking large.
Yeah.
I'm going to say that now. And yes, Sam, you are correct. In the world of fairy tale land where everything can be magically done and everyone's happy, yes. What I'm saying is, there's nothing stopping devs from working on their passion projects while they work for these companies. The NDAs, and I'm gonna sit here and say I'll gladly look one up. From any NDAs I've seen, or non-competes, it's typically in the understanding that you're not allowed to put that out while you're working for that company, not working on your own thing while you're working for that company. Now, I say that to say that I hope this empowers devs to work on those projects and make something that is as good as Valheim, because this is showing that you don't need these corporate teams to do that. Yes, NDAs are a thing. Yes, non-competes are a thing. I'm not saying they're not. What I'm saying is that these 5 devs have proven that you don't need an EA level backer to create and put out a game that could very well be as good, if not better, than Valheim.
Yeah.
And
That's simply what I'm saying.
I would say on that, people might say that Among Us was another example of that, but I would say
honestly,
that the key differences between those two is Valheim is something in production, in development, and was released on early access, and it blew up. That blew up purely through their own game mechanics and the functionality and well-roundedness of their game. Among Us was a game that already existed. It only popped up because Twitch streamers and everything like that jumped on it. Yeah. So there's 2 different clauses when you discuss those two and how they relate to each other, because in a sense they do relate with each other with how they had a small development team and they had very little backing and all that stuff. But there's a difference in between one actually releasing their beta and it popping off, and one having the full game out for years and it's popping off because of mainstream media.
Yeah. I mean, and there's going to happen
or social media in this case.
That's going to happen again. You're going to have your Twitch streamers and your YouTubers that are going to go back, find old games, and then bring them to popularity because they just have the numbers to be able to do that. Like if if Courage with his however many millions of followers, starts playing a game and there's even like a little bit of interest, they can immediately have 100,000 people playing it. Or
if there's any possibility of them jumping into the server that Courage, or let's say if in my instance is like Jacksepticeye with Rust, if any instance of jumping into that server or anything like that, even though there wasn't any instance until it got DDoS to hell, if there was any instance of that, then yeah, people are going to jump back in on that game and it's going to be most popular, rising, or viral.
Yep.
But I mean, it just all depends on the mediums that they're releasing, the social media and backing through the media that they have.
And I'll honestly think about the last time you saw a game like Valheim that did a silent release with little to no major video game name backing it and did this well.
I can only think of one scenario. Minecraft. That's it.
Yeah, that's fair.
I mean, there was Notch and Mojang. I mean, they were a studio. Well, Notch was originally by himself, and then he started hiring people once it started gaining a little bit of traction.
The only one I can think of is Hades.
I don't even know what Hades is.
But think about this. Think about that for a second. So you've both said 2 titles collectively. And how many titles are out?
Oh, yeah. You're not wrong.
Like, that's my point behind all of
this. Actually, no, I can think of one other scenario.
Okay, so 3.
And you know what that one is?
Oh, God.
RuneScape.
Hey. The OG.
Yeah, RuneScape grew on its own. Like, that wasn't...
honestly.
That's my point is out of 3 games, now, at the oldest point of 29 years, gaming for however long within our lifespan, Anderson, you're younger than us, but however long in your lifespan, 3 titles that we've seen besides Valheim, out of all the titles that are out, that did a silent release and was that successful. And it's still growing. Like, I just can't get over the fact that what we've seen, it's almost as if we've been in like this corporate coma. Like where, if you think about it,
All right, conspiracy theory. Let's go.
no conspiracy theory whatsoever.
And I forgot my tinfoil. Where is it?
I always got my hat.
But if you think about it, for our entire gaming careers, the way the media has pushed, the way gaming has pushed, whether it's console or PC, it's always got this connotation of the game's not going to be good. And I'm not saying this is the case for us perceiving as such, because we're three very strong-minded individuals who understand. But for marketing purposes and for the sake of what the community looks like, it's always been this connotation that there has to be some sort of corporate backer to make sure that game's gonna be successful. Whether it's Epic, whether it's EA, whatever it may be, there's always gotta be some sort of corporate backer, or else the game's gonna be shit. And that is not the case.
No, not at all.
Yeah, it was kind of like a subconscious mindset that was brought about by the music industry because they kind of grew at the same time.
Well, also think of it this way though, like so, and kind of going along the same lines with music. What was the one thing that actually led that to be able to happen? So, like, let's think of video games, early 2000s, right? So we're thinking, original Xbox. 360, PS2, stuff like that. PS3.
Yeah, we're thinking of like Need for Speed Midnight and all that fun shit.
Exactly. So I mean, 99% of the people kind of in our age range really, like the only option was games that were put out by large corporate backers, with the exception of RuneScape's like one of the earliest ones. But
that's because RuneScape was mainly developed on like HTML, CSS, and all that stuff. It was developed on a web page.
Yeah, and it was developed by three brothers. So so that's a really early indication of what having free access to not free, you know what I mean, like access to the internet can do for you. And to where like you now, instead of having to, like, even the music industry, and we've talked about this before, back in the day you couldn't just like get a rage hit out of nowhere without having some sort of backing and sponsorship. But now that we have like these giant internet forums like Reddit, Facebook, YouTube, anything like that, where you can go and post your thing and people can find it, that is what truly led to this recent thing. And so from here on out, we're only going to see more games like Valheim, more games like Minecraft, Hades, anything else that are going to blow up because of these independent companies and like indie devs and everything like that are making a game and putting all their heart and soul and passion into it. So yes, more of that is going to happen at this point because now people have the means to do so. Like, you're not having to make DVDs or CDs or cassettes or anything like that.
Correct.
Yeah. True. Yeah. And I love the way it's shifting. I love that more indie developers are getting more attention and stuff like that. It's just my hope that moving forward, that the cycle doesn't recycle and the indie developers become what the corporate developers have become.
It's inevitable.
I mean, yeah, it's inevitable, and then something else is going to have to take place. And
I mean, not all of them will, but
I think it's going to be like I think it'll be like a 30-70 split on that. Really, I think 30% of those indie devs are going to be like, "Oh, we've got to be like the corporate guys. They're the successful ones," and then you're going to have the 70% who'll be like, "Fuck them."
Yeah,
like.
Yeah, I hope that's the ideal case at that point, or if not lower.
Because given enough time, and then let's say the developers of Valheim at this point, they stay with their small company of 5 people, right? And so now that they've sold, let's say they sold 3 million copies, so we're talking $60 million. Now, of course, part of that has to go to Steam and whatever other distributor,
and taxes and all that fun stuff.
So they're now rich as fuck, and so they now have the resources and the time to be able to put their heart and soul and passion into another thing. And so
they have plenty of budget now.
Yeah. So if they were to keep it at that, and instead of just having the mindset of like, I can make better games by having more people, that's not always the case.
And exactly what I was saying before.
Yeah.
And they have the mindset of when they get all this money and stuff like that, they have the mindset of, okay, we don't need to increase company, become bigger or anything like that. We take this money and make better games.
Yeah. Pay the people that are there well to do
keep
what they
them
need
and
to
keep
do.
Doing their job.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. and just
And-
nurture a company to continue to do what it's doing without having to necessarily have all the overhead.
Yeah, invest in your employees and not the company or stocks or anything like that. I mean,
Yeah.
you got to do stocks and stuff for your company, but invest in the employees,
Preach.
which most companies don't do anymore.
Tabernacle. That's it. Like, I see this as like, as successful as they're being so far. I want to see more passion projects, man.
Yeah.
Like this gives me hope that we're going to see a lot more like this come out, because it's showing it. Like, yes, you're going to see, and I will say this. I didn't get a chance to say this earlier. I agree with you, Anderson. It's going to suck the biggest, hairiest balls when these big corporate companies like EA are going to go, what's that little dude doing? Oh, shit. They did that with 5 people?
Oh shit, they can do that? Oh fuck these guys. Cut them out.
I need like 2,000 of y'all to pack up and get the fuck out. Like, like I know it's going to suck, without a doubt. I just genuinely also, without a doubt, hope that those devs take that on top of everything that's going on right now. I hope they take that and turn it into a damn fire, a raging fucking fire, and go, we're going to make the best damn indie game anyone's ever seen.
Yep.
Passion projects are absolutely amazing, because I've played my, especially since I've gone PC Master Race, I've played my fair share of indie games, and I love them because it shows the imagination, it just shows to the core how much someone appreciates what they're putting out. It's like a piece of art, or like a song. When you hear a song, speaking from a musician's standpoint, when you hear a song, you can tell when that artist or band has put everything they have into that song or into that album, because they want what they've been hearing in their head. They want to be able to put that out for people to enjoy and appreciate, because it's something they did that they loved.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing with this. You can tell that those 5 devs absolutely love creating this game because of how amazing it is, how in depth it is, how much of them that they put into this game. And I hope that all those devs that get shit on by those corporate companies show those corporate companies the bird on the way out the door, and show them that they can do it on their own, because it can be done. Is it going to be easy? No, but nothing good in life came easy. And I would love to hear from those 5 devs who made Valheim how hard it was to make Valheim, because I guarantee you it wasn't no cakewalk. I'm guaranteeing it wasn't no fucking walk in the park. It was probably one of the hardest things they've ever had to do, with coming up with the funds to do it, with coming up with the time to do it, putting this much of them into this game. I have no doubt in my mind that it was difficult, but look how amazing it is.
Yeah.
It's like, that's what I hope. It's not a perfect world by any means. And I'm not going to sit here and say that it is. I'm not going to sit here and say that in any shape of the imagination is this some picture perfect society we live in where anybody can go and do what Valheim just did. But, or easily, but if they put if they put this fire behind it and make it, that's going to be beautiful. That we're going to see a surge of fantastic games coming out that we've been missing. Because Anderson, I'm pretty sure it was you who said it just a few weeks ago, who was saying that we've just been getting regurgitated stuff over and over again for the last decade.
Yeah.
Like,
Yep.
This is a brand new decade. We're in the roaring 20s, baby. Like, let's make it happen. Put out some of the best damn games you've ever had. I don't give a shit if I beat the game in an hour. If that game, it makes me want to sit in front of my computer for an hour and just envelop myself into that game, oh, let's do it. Because if it's that damn good, I'm going to want to play it.
Yeah, I agree with that. I would love to see that to happen. I would love for everything to come about like that and be like a revolution in game development and stuff like that. But then on the opposite side of the spectrum, I also see where if it goes the way that it usually goes that some people are gonna go to their local food line and be like, "Oh, what are you here? You're a new employee here." "Oh yeah, I worked on the Madden release, but I got fired because they cut down our team since they saw they could do it lower." And it's just like, I know both are. One side is the optimal, one side is the worst, and I like to meet in the middle. But evidently, I know people's lives are going to be affected, and these are people that go from like a triple figure salary down to minimum wage, and it's just like, I know this is going to happen. It's going to suck, and some of these people, they might not have the savings and stuff to pursue a passion project, because as we know with how the past I guess decade went, college loans, house bills, and all this stuff, they're on the rise. You got to pay them somehow, and sometimes you just don't have the funds for that. So I would like to see a world, Joe, but I also realize the realistic point of it. And I'm just like, I know it's going to affect people. I would love for a revolution to come, but it's going to be hard.
Yeah.
The realistic side is that's going to happen.
Yeah.
You know, that's the inevitable part of it. But something to think about too is this is also going to be a situation where those devs, I mean, we keep using EA to shit on them, but they're just the easiest to use, really.
I mean, they make themselves an easy target, so
yeah.
Yes. Something to remember here is that if these devs do get canned, you know, there are other corporate companies who aren't going to follow suit with this. They're going to be stuck in their ways of going, nope, we're going to keep our team of 3,000. Oh, you just dropped some of your best devs? Come on over here. We got you. Come on over here.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you're right. I mean, there's idiosyncrasies and like complications and different things that go into this. It's just that
it's not so black and white.
I don't know.
There's
I guess after 2020,
gray.
I'm tired of living through revolutions.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that's been fact.
And that's the thing with life, especially now. And by the way, I got to shout out Mama Striker. She said, roast them, fuck it. But
Yes.
I mean, in reality, you know, we're going to see a bunch of shit, you know, going way beyond the scope of gaming. I mean, we're young. We're going to see a lot of fucked up shit over the years.
Yeah.
And it's really just where you choose to focus your energy and what you're taking in yourself. Like, yeah, of course it's going to happen. It's going to suck. But let's hope, and I think this might be a good place to end it, that, you know, developers be developing and, you know, keep doing stuff like Valheim. And I think overall, we are going to see an increase in that kind of level of production from indie developers, especially now that they have the medium, this beautiful medium that we call the internet, to do so. And so, you know, there's going to have some good, it's going to have some bad. Just got to take it all in, you know?
Yeah. For my closing remarks on this one, I see the good, I see the bad. It's just, if anyone's in the predicament of being a game dev or anything like that, or in this industry or anything like that, make sure to take care of yourself, take care of your family, find what's best for you and your family, and go that route. I mean, if you have a passion project, that's great. If you don't, and you just need to take care of your family, do that. And at the end of the day, it's about survival. It's about getting yourself through the day and going to the next day.
On the sunshine and rainbow side of that, I'd like to close out by saying this. And I know both of you know this, I'm always the one who tries to see the best in the situations ahead of what could be done. Like, oh, this could be huge. Let's do it. On the opposite side of the same coin of what Anderson just said, if you're a developer or you know, you're going to school to become a developer or whatever it is, take this opportunity to realize that that passion project you may have been sitting on, that game that you may be thinking, I don't know. You're not going to know unless you try. You're not going to know unless you try. Go about it as smart as possible. You know, do the math, do the equations, do all the studying you need to do to understand what you're about to get yourself into. But take that chance. At some point, take that chance, because you don't know if you're going to land on a gold mine like Valheim. You don't know until you put it out. Mm-hmm. These guys who created Valheim, and probably gals as well, so these dudes and ladies who put out Valheim, I'm sure that they were working on this going, we don't know where this is going to land. I'm sure in their minds, probably maybe one of them was thinking like, oh, this could be the best damn thing that's ever been since sliced bread. But you're always going to have that voice in the back of your head going, what if? Both on the negative and the positive.
Mm-hmm.
This is a great opportunity to recognize that those projects are enjoyed, those projects are appreciated, and those projects could be the next big hit. There's really no way around it besides the fact of understanding, like Anderson is 100% correct. Take care of you and yours. You have to, without a doubt. And, you know, you can't just, you know,
discard everything and go for it.
You can't discard your responsibilities, but you can build something amazing and get it out there for the people to ingest and enjoy. There's nothing stopping you. There's no corporate, like, kingpin who's going to be holding a gun to your head saying, don't do it. You know, if you're not stuck to any NDA or non-compete, you know, do it. Put it out there because you don't know what's going to be successful. You don't know. Like Valheim, like we've said time and time again so far in this entire podcast now, and also the show yesterday, there's nobody saw Valheim drop. It was silent and it's been booming. There's nothing stopping you from doing the exact same thing. Point
because if your gameplay and your development and everything is solid and rock tight and the game is interesting and fantastic, people are going to pick it up.
Yep.
Doesn't matter.
Now, I do want to say this. I made a promise last night that I would tell one quick story, and we said we would talk about this, and then honestly, we could probably save the video for next week. But I promised I would talk about size discrimination.
That's right.
Like fat shaming?
Well, should we include this in the podcast, or should we wrap that up and then just do this for the stream or something?
Yeah, let's just do this for the stream. Take a quick break.
Yeah. Well, no, we don't need to take a quick break because I'll just tell it and we'll be done.
We'll just stop recording.
Okay.
So for the podcast, you know, anybody who's in this chat right now, hang out. I've got a fun little story for you after this. It's gonna be hilarious. But if you are watching this on YouTube, thank you so much. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and the bell icon. Of course, if you'd like to tune in for the stream, make sure to head over to twitch.tv/the Gaming Bunch Boys to tune into that. Hit that follow button. That way you can get some notifications when we go live on Saturdays and Sundays, and also possibly some more in the future. We don't know yet. But also next week, what's next week?
Rocket League, the
Boom!
challenge
Oh, yeah.
series.
Yes, it's our very first
Forgot.
challenge series. So something we've said before, and we'll say it again. Anybody in the chat, if you wouldn't mind doing us a quick, solid, if you're able to, drop some donos in there because we're using that to pay for future challenge series. We got this one covered, don't worry. But if you can't, we understand. Please tune in next week because that helps us out just as much. Being able to get us in front of other eyes. Share that for your friends. You'll be seeing us post about it on TikTok and Instagram and Facebook all week to build the hype. We'd love to see you all there. It's gonna be a blast. If you're watching this on YouTube, then you've missed it.
Yep.
But then, of course, if you're watching this on YouTube, you can also tune in. We're going to have a little rewind of that on our Friday release for that. But it's going to be a blast. We can't wait. Make sure to tune in. Again, if you can dono, great. If not, we're not going to hold it against you. It just definitely helps us out. Every dollar that we can get to go towards other players who join in on the challenge series, because as we've said before, the challenge series is not for us to participate. It's for you to participate and win some awesome prizes that we can put together for you. So 1 week, tune into that. Other than that, boys, I think that's where we should call it.
Yeah, I think that's about a wrap.
Cool. Thanks, YouTube.
Peace.
Bye, bitches.